I've never lifted before, ever, until coming here.
That's insane.
Yeah. I was a flyer. I didn't really need to lift. I needed to stretch, be flexible. And then I had the tumbling already a little bit under my belt coming in. But then also 18 years of experience, they kind of wanted us to change that. The habits that we made, the bad habits, the technique that wasn't the Baylor standard. We had to learn the Baylor standard. And that was a little bit difficult, and I'm still trying to get there because no one's perfect, and I'm yet to be there, right? I still have 2 more years to go of trying to get to the Baylor standard. So,
You did
yeah,
okay.
that's big. Thanks.
You're a freshman of the year and
Thanks.
all of tumbling, I think that.
Yeah.
So at least from a freshman perspective, you
Mhm.
hit freshman standard pretty well, but
Yes.
it's got to be motivating to know you have more to go.
Exactly. I did exactly what I strived to do my freshman year, but there were still things that I left kind of unsaid that I wanted to put my mark on.
You said that, you know, you're erasing 18 years of experience. That would imply that you've been doing this stuff since you were born.
Yeah. 3. I mean, 3 years
So
old.
really 15
Yeah.
years.
15 years, yeah.
That's a long time. Kind of what was the start? What kind of got you down this path?
So there was a cheer gym built in the same gymnastics gym that I was coming up on, and it was like I did a little mommy and me class, but loved the makeup, loved the big bows, loved the showy outfits. And then eventually I just started getting with the coaches and learning more skills, not just having fun, learning more skills, and then realizing I was like, maybe this could be a thing for me. Maybe this is a sport for me, you know? So then my mom and we switched to a bigger school when I was around 10 years, I mean, bigger gym when I was like 10 years old. And then from there is when it all skyrocketed.
When did this start getting really serious for you? When did you kind of start building momentum and realizing like this is going to be a major future for
Yeah.
me?
I think mainly when I switched to a world's team. So in all-star cheerleading aspects, when you turn 12, you were world's age eligible. And so once I made that leap from a junior team to a senior team, I think it all changed. It wasn't just performing and you get a gold medal here or there, and it's not just about the bows anymore. It was really competitive. And I think that started bringing the competitive nature out of me. And my coaches, also amazing coaches that I grew up with, were helping me hone in on my skill. And that started helping me see like, oh, wait, I think I could do something with this, you know?
And so you kind of had the initial positive feeling. What was the first moments that you really started getting recognition?
Ooh, that's hard. Maybe after my first year on my world's team, I became more of a leader on my team, started speaking out more, started posting more on social media. That's always a big part of it. Twitter is huge in the cheer world. And so once people started talking about me, I tried to like hone in on it and then also just be big in my choreography. That was what I was always known for was, yes, my amazing skills, but I had the big hair and I was performing and you always see me laughing and enjoying it. And I think that's really what me and the audience started seeing and working out together. And it was a good relationship.
Has there been like a specific comment or a message you've gotten from one of your routines where you feel like someone watched you and said, man, I really felt empowered
Yeah.
or inspired by what you just did out there?
I mean, almost after every competition that I've ever been in, I'll have a mom DM me being like, my daughter loves you. How can I get her to be like you? And I'm like, that's wow. That gives me chills that I'm doing that for someone just by doing something that I love. And then also this past weekend against Iona, I was taking my tape off at the end of the meet, and an Iona athlete walks across all the way from the mat and tells me, I did this sport because of you. And that's crazy to me. We're both 20 years old, but I helped her get into the sport of acrobatics and tumbling, but I didn't even know that I was doing that. So it reminds me that it's deeper and what I'm doing is deeper and that I'm also helping people while I'm helping myself too, you know?
You kind of mentioned it. Have you always been kind of this energizer?
Yeah. I'm very like, just go, 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 go. That's kind of my thing.
Was it that
But
way out of the
yeah.
womb, or was it just like
I don't
something that
know.
developed at all?
My mom probably would say it's out of the womb. I've just always been very happy, energetic. That's kind of how I like to move in my daily life. So,
As you were kind of leading up to high school, were there any ever like mentally challenging moments? Because I feel like you wouldn't be a person that would show it at all.
That's such a great question because I don't show it. That's one of my faults is I don't like to show my emotions. And I know that in today's day and age, emotions are okay. So I'm still fighting every day to be able to show my emotions. If I'm gonna go cry, I'm gonna go in a corner and you're not gonna see me do it. And that's kind of how I just grew up doing that, you know, especially me trying to be so competitive and me being the only child and just trying to be the best at everything I do. I don't want you to see me fail. I don't want to see myself fail. So it's battling my mind and my heart and knowing that it's okay to not be perfect, right? And but just being comfortable in my own skin, being comfortable in my own emotions.
And what do you think some of the more like mentally challenging moments of your career have been?
Mm. Probably in all-star cheerleading, losing worlds, which is the biggest competition there is in all-star cheerleading. I never won it. So every year, year after year, just more tears with the other 20 people that I loved and who I was doing it for. And then also I was letting down the entire country who wanted me to win too. So that was hard. That
It's a
was a
lot of
hard
pressure.
pressure.
It's a
Yeah.
lot of pressure when you have all those people that are following
hmm
you, and that's the
Yeah.
reverse side of all the encouragement when you're getting all these
Yeah.
DMs and Twitter
hmm
messages and people before the meet
hmm
saying, "We're cheering you
Yep.
on, Peyton. You know it's your year this year. You've
Yeah.
got this. We can't wait till you win." And then you want to deliver that for them.
Yeah. Because it's hard. 'Cause like I don't know what they're gonna think of me if I fail. I'll be okay with failing myself, but you know, I don't. You never like want to let anyone down. And knowing that I might let an 8-year-old down because I'm not winning, that's hard. You know, that's just, it's different when you think about it that way. And it's not like I'm not just doing it for the other 30 people team. I mean, 30 people on my team. I'm also doing it for everyone else out there who's watching me.
And you're driving all the way to Houston to train, and you're also, but the part in between all that, you're student body president somehow too.
Yeah, student council.
But like how?
I don't even, I don't even really know. I mean, it all just kind of happened very quickly.
How did you find time to sleep?
Oh, the drive home from practice.
Did you
Yeah.
reach such a space of exhaustion
Mm.
when you were driving home that it just like you were just out
Mhm.
like a light in the car?
Oh, it was so, I love sleeping in a car. Something about a car gets me gone. Put on a little country music, really gonna sleep good.
What's the most burnt out you felt?
Definitely senior year, for sure. Not only was I in all of those clubs and my team, but I took on a bigger role on my team being a leader. And that was just a different pressure that I hadn't experienced before. And that's what kept my mind racing at night. I only had a few hours to go to sleep, but it was harder to, you know? And it was just getting more and more difficult. And before you knew it, in April, I was tired. Like, I'm gonna be honest,
Took
I
all
was
the way till
tired.
April. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. No, we made it that far, but I was tired and I was really looking forward to coming to Baylor because of it.
What do you think? Is there a day or like a week, a period of time? You talk about being April, but was like a specific day where you just really hit that edge?
I don't know if it was a specific day, but I know after my accident, it was like kind of a sigh of relief. It was like, whoa, this was a big pause that I didn't know that was going to happen in my life, but I think I needed it.
I think in some ways, when all that happened, that it was a like signal from something greater just to slow you
Yes.
down.
No, that's exactly what I think it was. Still trying to talk to him about it and figure out why it all happened, but I was running really fast. I was doing a lot at a really young age. I didn't know where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do and who I wanted to become. And I think that time was literally a time for me to just look in the mirror and be like, who do you want to be? You know, what do you want your mark on the world to be? And I think I sat in that time of not being able to do my sport, which what I thought was my identity, and then come to Baylor and find myself.
What came out of that questioning process?
I don't think it was just that day, you know, because I mean, people have asked me this before. Did you think you were gonna die? Never did. I knew I was bleeding, but I never thought I was gonna die. I actually sat in the moment to myself and breathed. Like I literally slowed down, and the only thing I was with was my thoughts and his. That was it. That's all I was thinking. So then after I realized, okay, you're not going to be able to do what you've been doing your whole life, right? So let's sit down, let's take a second and figure out what you want to do, right? Who you want to be. I knew I was still coming here, and I knew that I wanted that to be my next chapter. It was planning on being my chapter, so I was going to do it, right? That's how I was. When I put my mind onto something, I'm going to do it. No matter what was faced, what challenges were, what adversity came upon me, I was going to do this. So I get here, and then I'm grinding it out, right? I'm coming from basically ground zero, my body at least. And that's hard for me to deal with because I'd always been at the best of my best, right? Always pushing myself, getting better, being known in the all-star cheerleading world, and now coming at the ground and not knowing really a lot. I'm just coming from what I know from my brain and from just hearing what the coaches had to say, but I never actually put it into action. So then it was just a lot of work on myself, athletically, spiritually, and in my mind. But then once I realized that, okay, you can do this, then it all started just to be a lot laid out for me, a lot easier. And then I realized I wasn't really just trying to do it for myself anymore.
You go from ground zero, have to relearn everything in your body to being All-American, Freshman of the Year, every accolade you possibly could have won. Like, what happens in between ground zero and all those accolades?
A whole lot of work, honestly. Like I said, coming in from ground zero, I'd never lifted before already. And now I'm 90 pounds. So I didn't really know what that was going to look like. I didn't do a back handspring until I came here, which I've been doing a back handspring since I was 6 years old. So just looking at it like that, that's honestly insane. But it wasn't even just my work. It was my coaches and them building my body back to what it needed to do, and then me figuring out the mind piece. That was a big part of
Do
it.
you think in some ways you were better because of it? Because
Yes.
because you had to build from the ground up again, it actually helped you create the optimal acro version of you
Yes.
versus the cheer or track version?
No, exactly, because I created a lot of bad habits in my tumbling and just different stuff like that from cheerleading, because you're on that spring floor. You can get away with a lot, but you can't get away with that in acro. So coming in from zero and them teaching me the basics of our sport, literally the very basics, going back to maybe skills that I was doing when I was 5, and them teaching me their way, the Baylor way, how to do it. It just built me. It built me to where I am today. But I'm still learning. So much further to go regarding acro, but we're starting at a good place.
You mentioned that you had that process, you look in the mirror and you wanted to kind of find your identity. Where do you feel like that is right now?
With God. Genuinely. Some of my favorite parts of my week is at chapel. Just finding that time to breathe, because as a student athlete, there's not much. You have tutoring, you have practice, you have lift, you have class, you have any of the extracurriculars you're in, FCA, Bible study, anything, and then also going to football games at the weekend. You have so many parts of your life, and me getting to sit in chapel and just breathe and talk to him, talk to myself, and be mindful, that's a really big part for me now. Realizing that it is okay to breathe and not to be going 100 all the time and be racing all the time. So just slowing down, that's my identity now. It's being in the moment.